Written by Dismal Apparition. Most federal prisons are well funded. They provide 3 hots and a cot like clockwork. Hell, well-behaved prisoners at most federal prisons can even buy themselves a small TV. It's at a 5,000% markup, but it's better than nothing. This isn't your typical federal prison, though. This is what is referred to as a black site, a secret facility where the government can dump those who it deems enemies of the state without the process of an actual trial. I was offered a job for the same reason all the other guards were. I'm a piece of shit. I was a military guard in Guantanamo Bay. I was tried and convicted on brutality charges by a military tribunal. At the end of the trial, a man in a tan suit approached me and offered the job. Facing a dishonorable discharge, I didn't hesitate to accept. I realized something strange was going on during my very first day on the job. I had driven to the address the man had given me, but it led to a desolate shack off the back roads in the mountains. I approached the unpainted, rusty door, and an elderly man in overalls stepped out.
"What do you want?"
He crinkled his nose, looking me up and down. I think I might have the wrong address. Thanks, though. I turned to walk away.
"What's your name?"
Excuse me?
You getting smart with me? I said, what's your damn name?
He shot tobacco spit out of his mouth like snake venom. Martin Gonzalez. I could have easily folded the guy in half, but the last thing I needed was another conviction.
Okay, come on in then.
What?
Damn it, kid. It's your first day here and you're already pissing me off. You're a guard, ain't you? So get your ass downstairs and guard.
He stepped into the shack, mumbling obscenities under his breath. A rusted mining elevator sat behind him.
Go on now. Get down there. The warden is gonna tear you in two if you're late on your first day.
I obliged, as confusing as the ordeal was. The elevator jiggled and creaked as it slid down the rocky dirt shaft. I struggled to make sense of the situation. Why had the man given me an address in the middle of nowhere? Why would a prison be built here? Why the fuck did I agree to step on the rickety-ass elevator? Suddenly, the elevator rocked, knocking me against the side rail. Gears scratched against each other, groaning in mechanical torment. It jerked as if the pulley would break loose at any moment. My breathing quickened as the elevator slammed to a halt, and the old incandescent light bulb above me flickered out. Below me, a hoarse cluster of screams bellowed out. It sounded as if a choir was being slaughtered as they sang out in horror. My knuckles turned white as I gripped the railing beside me. Something crawled onto the bottom of the elevator, violently swinging it back and forth while grunting melodically. I collapsed and placed my head between my knees, trying to gain control of my breathing, but the screams and shaking came to a stop as quickly as they had started. The light bulb buzzed back to life and the elevator door slid open.
Sitting on the job already, Gonzalez?
The tan-suited man had a thick South Carolina accent. No, sir. I shot up and snapped to the position of attention out of habit.
Now. This isn't the military anymore, son. You can relax a bit. Just call me Cartwright.
The man chuckled. Okay, thank you, Warden Cartwright.
Just Cartwright, not Warden, not sir. None of that bullshit. That goes for everyone here. We all come from a military background, and we prefer not to be reminded of all the courtesies that come along with it.
Okay, Cartwright. Where were all those screams coming from?
Screams?
His brow furrowed.
What screams?
I heard something while I was on the elevator. It sounded like a group of men was screaming.
Oh, that, he chuckled. That's an old elevator, son. It was built for miners back in 1886. In fact, this whole facility was originally a mining shaft. The government had it converted during the Cold War. We are about a mile underground, so sometimes the echoes from the tunnels can build to a crescendo and make odd noises. I'm sure what you heard was nothing more than the scratching of the elevator railing.
But the power went out.
Yeah, that'll happen from time to time. More often lately, it seems. Not to worry, though. There's a hand-operated crank at the bottom of the elevator in case of emergency. Now, let's get to your duty station.
He escorted me down a long, ominous hallway, passing up inmate cells as we moved. The first hall was filled with older men, maybe in their late 70s. Some sat on the edge of their beds, rocking back and forth. Most were lying down, flat on their backs, eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling. All of them were completely silent, almost inhumanly quiet. You could hear a pin drop in this hall. What's up with these guys? Why are they so quiet? Cartwright slammed to a halt and bore his eyes into mine.
We stole the screams, son. Strapped them down and sucked the screams right out. That's what you heard in the elevator. The grinder, we call it.
You... what? I could see my eyes dilate in the reflection of his.
I'm messing with you, son.
Cartwright slapped his knee and bellowed out with laughter.
These are the older prisoners, the ones from the Cold War era. Most of them are in their 70s or 80s. 40 years in this place will take its toll on you. Don't pay them no mind, they'll die off soon enough.
I faked a chuckle.
Listen, you already know how the shifts work. You'll be locked down here for 12 days straight, followed by a week off, then repeat. You sure you're ready for this commitment?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Well, you best be ready. Once that elevator locks, it can only be activated for an emergency.
I nodded and continued forward. We arrived at my duty station moments later. It was a small cell block with 4 cells on either side. A large enclosed desk sat at the far end.
Seriously, Cart? You're sticking me with the fucking new guy tonight of all nights?
A muscular, heavily tattooed guard stepped out from behind the desk. He ran his hand through heavily greased hair as he spoke.
Settle down, Peters. There ain't nothing special about tonight, so don't be putting those ideas into Gonzalez's head.
Cartwright responded.
I'm heading to my bunk for the night. You boys play nice now.
Fucking asshole.
Peters mumbled as Cartwright left.
So, new guy. What branch?
Navy, I responded. Master at Arms, military police.
No shit.
His face lit up as he suddenly shook my hand.
I was a Master at Arms myself. I got out 6 years ago. Been here ever since. I'm gonna have to let Williams know we got another Navy guy. Everyone else is mostly Army. Couple Marines like Cartwright. Assholes. Willie? That guy in the shack? I think he was Air Force.
They sure know how to pick 'em, I responded. So, what did you mean when you said something was gonna happen tonight?
You already feel it, don't you? The screaming noise. The power outage. It happens every couple weeks. The prisoners will sometimes riot because of it.
What? Why?
Just bullshit rumors they started. They tell stories about where the screams come from. Tell each other it's a demon in the lower levels that we sacrifice a prisoner to each month.
Cartwright said something about sucking out their screams.
Yeah, that's another one of those rumors. Anyway, since you're the new guy, you've got first watch. I'm headed to the break room for some shut-eye. There's not much to it. Just hang out at the desk here and make sure the inmates behave.
He tossed me a large key ring before marching away. It didn't take long for one of the prisoners to introduce himself.
Hey you, new guy.
A smug Jersey accent called out as Peters left. I approached the offending cell to see a short, dark-haired inmate who looked as if he hadn't eaten in days.
Russo.
He stuck his hand through the bars.
Francisco Russo. You can call me Frankie.
How about I just call you inmate?
Ha! First day here and you're already an asshole. Just so you know, I'm not like the other guys locked in here. I'm innocent.
He made a cross over his heart as he spoke. Yeah, I've heard that one 1,000 times. What they'd lock you up for if you're so innocent.
A mind reader.
He smirked.
I can read people's thoughts. Used to do it as a party trick. Let's just say I read the mind of the wrong congressman at a cocktail party. He didn't find it amusing. The next day I woke up in here.
The look in his eyes was genuine and warm. What he was saying may not have been true, but he definitely believed it was.
So anyway, what are you in for? No offense, but this doesn't exactly look like your dream job, big guy.
I kicked an inmate's ass because he wouldn't shut up. Got kicked out of the military for it. I smirked. You remind me of him, as a matter of fact. His eyes widened before he had a chance to respond.
Russo, you fucking scumbag.
Peter's voice shot through the air, bringing the conversation to an abrupt stop. He sprinted towards the cell, snatched the keyring out of my hand, and started unlocking it.
All right.
Frankie stepped back just as Peters burst into the cell and dropped him with a punch to the gut.
What did I tell you about talking to the staff, you piece of shit?
Peters growled as he kicked Frankie in the ribs.
You think you get special privilege around here?
Okay, I'm sorry.
Frankie covered his face with his hands.
Damn right you are.
My heart started beating in my chest. I closed my eyes and I'm in Gitmo. A prisoner is being beaten by 2 other guards. They just keep hitting him and hitting him and hitting him. And I stand at the door, doing nothing to stop them. The crack of Frankie's breaking nose snaps me back to reality. Peters has his fist cocked back, charging another blow. Stop! I caught his hand. He's had enough. Peters yanked his arm away so hard he nearly broke my wrist. He shoved me into the cell wall.
I'm gonna let that one slide because you're a Navy guy. But you ever fucking grab me again like that and I'll walk your ass into the grinder myself.
The grinder? So it's real? He turned towards Frankie, ignoring my question.
You're up next, inmate. I'm gonna make sure of it.
He spit as he stormed out of the cell.
I hate assholes like him. The ones who hit the inmates.
Frankie coughed up some blood as he spoke. So, assholes like me then, I asked. 'Cause I'm just like him, remember?
Nah, you're more like me. Innocent. Framed for something you didn't do.
What, you read my mind? I joked as I helped him up. Frankie shook his head.
No. Didn't have to.
We're gonna have to get you cleaned up. Do you know where the medical wing is? I'll escort you.
Don't worry about it, big guy. There's no point.
What do you mean there's no point? My sentence was cut off by a deafening shriek. I stumbled towards the cell door just as the power blew out. Security lights spun the cell block into a deep red, emitting a blaring warning sign. The ground convulsed below me and the screaming reverberated so loudly I could feel it in my soul. It was as loud as a tornado alarm. My heart raced in my chest as I collapsed onto the floor, hyperventilating. Loud noises had been my worst enemy since my last deployment.
Get up! You need to get out of here before the other guards come.
Frankie cupped my hands over my ears. What's happening? I yelled, hoping he could hear me over the commotion. A team of 8 guards led by Cartwright burst into the cell block in full riot gear, marching 2 by 2.
The grinder,
He shouted.
it's real.
I had to read his lips to understand his next sentence.
And they are coming for me next. Thank you for listening. You can probably handle another horror story, right?